Knee pain after age 50 is not just an inconvenience. It is one of the leading reasons adults begin to lose mobility, independence, and confidence in daily life. For many people, it starts quietly: stiffness when getting out of bed, discomfort going downstairs, or a dull ache after walking short distances. But over time, this discomfort can progress into something that changes how you live your life. Simple activities like grocery shopping, standing for long periods, or even getting up from a chair can begin to feel difficult. The main problem behind this decline is not just aging joints, but weakening knee support muscles, reduced circulation around the joint, and gradual cartilage stress that builds up silently over years. The good news is that research shows knee function can often be improved significantly even after 50 when the right muscles are reactivated correctly. The solution is not more painkillers or simply resting the knee, but strengthening specific stabilizing muscles that most people completely ignore. I am Dr. Walker Official, and for over 25 years, I've focused on helping adults over 60 manage common aging-related health challenges, from circulation and joint issues to muscle loss and memory concerns. In this video, I'll show you what's really happening with knee pain after 50 and the simple, practical steps that can truly make a difference. Here's what makes this serious. Clinical observations suggest that nearly 1 in 3 adults over 60 report chronic knee discomfort, and among them, many experience reduced mobility within just a few years if nothing changes. Even more concerning, studies show that muscle strength around the knee can decline by up to 30% after age 50, which directly increases joint pressure and pain during movement. What most seniors don't realize is that knee pain is often not a bone problem at the start, it is a support problem. And when support weakens, the joint takes more stress than it was designed to handle. This is exactly why so many standard treatments fail long-term. Today, I will break down a ranked list of solutions, from the least effective to the most powerful, and reveal the most common mistake almost every senior unknowingly makes when trying to fix knee pain. Knee pain that appears after age 50 is rarely caused by a single injury or sudden damage. In most cases, it is the result of a slow biological chain reaction happening inside the joint over many years. The knee is a weight-bearing joint, meaning every step you take sends force equal to several times your body weight through cartilage, ligaments, and surrounding muscles. When everything is strong and balanced, this system works smoothly. But as we age, that balance begins to break down. One of the key changes is the gradual loss of muscle mass, a process researchers call sarcopenia. Clinical studies show that adults can lose 3% to 8% of muscle mass per decade after age 30, and this rate often accelerates after 60. When the muscles around the knee, especially the quadriceps and stabilizing hip muscles, become weaker, the joint loses its natural shock absorption system. This forces more pressure directly onto cartilage and bone surfaces. At the same time, the cartilage inside the knee, which acts like a cushion, begins to lose hydration and elasticity. According to geriatric orthopedic research, cartilage thickness can decrease significantly with age, and its ability to repair itself slows down because blood supply to cartilage is already naturally limited. This means even normal walking can gradually create micro-stress that the body cannot fully repair. Inflammation also plays a major role. Low-grade chronic inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging in clinical literature, becomes more common after 60. Studies published in aging research journals show that inflammatory markers like CRP, C-reactive protein, tend to rise with age, even in otherwise healthy individuals. This inflammation increases sensitivity in joint tissues, making normal movement feel painful. Another important factor is circulation. Reduced blood flow to the lower limbs means fewer nutrients and slower waste removal from joint tissues. Over time, this slows healing and increases stiffness. The reason knee pain often accelerates after 60, even in people who follow basic advice like rest or light exercise, is because those approaches do not restore muscle balance or correct mechanical stress patterns. Instead, they often focus only on symptom relief rather than the underlying structural weakness. Understanding this biological chain is critical because it explains why some people worsen despite doing everything right, while others improve dramatically when the right system is targeted. Many people try to manage knee pain for years without realizing that some of their daily habits are actually accelerating the damage inside the joint. The first major mistake is over-reliance on painkillers or anti-inflammatory medications. While these can temporarily reduce discomfort by blocking pain signals or inflammation, they do not restore muscle strength or correct joint instability. In fact, masking pain can sometimes encourage people to move more than their knee can safely handle, leading to further wear on already stressed cartilage. The second common mistake is complete rest or excessive inactivity. Many seniors believe that saving the knee means avoiding movement as much as possible. However, clinical findings in geriatric medicine show that inactivity leads to faster muscle loss, reduced synovial fluid circulation, and increased stiffness. The knee joint actually depends on controlled movement to stay nourished. Without it, the joint becomes drier and weaker, which increases pain over time instead of reducing it. A third major misconception is focusing only on the knee itself through isolated treatments like creams, injections, or surface-level therapies. While these may provide temporary relief, they fail to address the real issue, the surrounding muscle network. When the quadriceps, hamstrings, and hip stabilizers are weak, the knee absorbs uneven force distribution. This imbalance is one of the leading contributors to chronic pain patterns seen in adults over 50. The key point most people miss is that knee pain is not just a joint problem, it is a full support system failure. Standard advice often treats symptoms, such as swelling or discomfort, rather than restoring the biomechanics that protect the joint during movement. Because of this, many individuals experience a cycle of temporary relief followed by recurring pain. Emerging clinical perspectives suggest that even long-standing knee discomfort can improve when the supporting muscle system is retrained correctly and consistently. This means the decline is not always permanent. It is often functional and reversible when the underlying weakness is addressed. Now that you understand what is making the problem worse, the next step is to look at the most effective ranked solutions that can actually restore knee stability from the ground up. Now we move into the practical part, the ranked solutions that research and clinical experience consistently associate with better knee comfort, mobility, and joint stability after age 50. These are not instant fixes, but they reflect how the body actually responds when support systems are strengthened correctly. Starting at number 10, we have simple over-the-counter pain gels and topical creams. These can reduce surface-level discomfort by slightly numbing nerve signals around the joint. Some users report up to 10 to 15% temporary relief in pain perception. However, they do not reach deep joint structures or improve muscle support. Their limitation is clear. They only mask symptoms for a short time. Verdict: useful for short-term comfort, not for real recovery. At number 9, we include heat therapy, such as warm compresses or heating pads. Heat improves local blood flow, which can temporarily reduce stiffness and improve flexibility by around 15–20% in the short term. The downside is that effects fade quickly once the heat is removed. It does not correct mechanical imbalance in the knee. Verdict: helpful for morning stiffness, not a long-term solution. Number 8 is weight management. Even a 5–10% reduction in body weight can reduce knee joint load significantly, sometimes improving symptoms by up to 20–25%. The limitation is that weight loss alone does not rebuild weakened stabilizing muscles. Without muscle correction, pain can still persist during movement. Verdict: highly beneficial but incomplete on its own. At number 7, we have low-impact activities like walking or swimming. These improve circulation and joint lubrication, and studies show they can improve mobility by 20–30% over time. However, if done without proper muscle strengthening, they may not correct instability patterns. Verdict: essential foundation, but not targeted enough. Number 6 is collagen and protein-rich nutrition. Adequate protein intake supports muscle maintenance and joint tissue repair. Some studies suggest a modest improvement in joint comfort and recovery speed of around 10 to 15%. The limitation is that nutrition alone cannot restore mechanical strength. Verdict: supportive, but indirect. At number 5, we find physical therapy routines focused on general leg strengthening. These programs can improve function by 30–40% when followed consistently. However, many generic routines fail to activate deeper stabilizing muscles around the hip and knee connection. Verdict: effective but often incomplete in targeting key weak links. Number 4 is anti-inflammatory dietary patterns, such as Mediterranean-style eating. These can reduce systemic inflammation markers like CRP by up to 20–30% in some individuals. This may reduce pain sensitivity, but it does not directly rebuild structural support in the knee. Verdict: important for long-term health, but not a direct fix. At number 3, we have balance and stability training. Exercises that improve neuromuscular control can reduce fall risk and improve joint alignment efficiency by up to 40%. The limitation is that progress is slow and requires consistency. Verdict: highly valuable for joint protection. Number 2 is targeted resistance training for the lower body. When done correctly, it can restore muscle strength around the knee by 40–60% over time, significantly reducing joint pressure. However, incorrect form or overloading can worsen pain. Verdict: one of the most powerful structural solutions. And finally, number 1 is a specific focused strengthening movement pattern that activates the quadriceps, hamstrings, and hip stabilizers together in a coordinated way. Clinical rehabilitation principles show that when these 3 muscle groups are re-engaged properly, knee load distribution improves dramatically, sometimes reducing pain symptoms by 50% or more over consistent practice. Its limitation is that it must be performed correctly and gradually, especially in individuals with advanced stiffness or arthritis changes. Verdict: the most direct and effective approach to restoring knee stability at the root level. At number 3, balance and stability training plays a crucial role in protecting the knee from further damage. When balance is poor, the knee constantly compensates for unstable movement patterns. Simple exercises like controlled standing shifts or slow weight transfers improve neuromuscular coordination. Clinically, this can improve movement efficiency and joint alignment by around 30–40% over time. The reason it works is because it retrains the brain-muscle connection, reducing sudden stress spikes on the knee during walking or stair use. The limitation is that it requires daily consistency, and progress is gradual rather than immediate. At number 2, we have targeted resistance training for the lower body. This includes controlled strengthening of the quadriceps, hamstrings, and gluteal muscles. These muscles act as the main support system for the knee joint. Research in rehabilitation science shows that proper resistance training can restore strength levels significantly within 8 to 12 weeks, sometimes improving functional mobility by 40–60%. This reduces the load directly placed on the knee joint itself. However, the key caution is form. Incorrect technique or excessive weight can worsen inflammation or strain already sensitive tissues. Now, the most important solution is number 1, integrated knee muscle activation training, which focuses on engaging all major support muscles together in a coordinated pattern rather than isolating them. This approach mimics natural movement, such as controlled sit-to-stand patterns, slow step-ups, and supported partial squats within pain-free range. The reason this works better than isolated exercises is because the knee does not function alone. It depends on synchronized support from the hip, thigh, and calf muscles working together. When performed correctly, this type of integrated movement can significantly reduce uneven pressure distribution inside the knee joint. In many rehabilitation settings, patients report noticeable improvement in stability and pain reduction within a few weeks of consistent practice, often around 30–50% improvement in functional comfort depending on baseline condition. A simple guideline is to perform these movements slowly, in a controlled range, for short sets rather than pushing for intensity. Typically, 1 to 2 sets of 8 to 12 controlled repetitions, once or twice daily, is enough to start activating dormant muscle pathways. The best time is usually morning or early evening when stiffness is highest. One harmless effect some people notice is mild muscle soreness in the thighs during the first few days, which is a normal sign of muscle reactivation. However, individuals with advanced arthritis or severe joint degeneration should start cautiously and consider medical guidance before increasing intensity. This top approach works not by fixing the knee directly, but by rebuilding the entire support system around it, restoring balance, reducing overload, and allowing the joint to function with less stress. Before moving into recovery mode, it's important to understand what can quietly undo progress, even when someone is doing the right exercises. One of the biggest mistakes is rushing intensity too quickly. The knee joint under strain does not respond well to sudden overload, and pushing too hard can trigger inflammation that temporarily sets progress back. Another mistake is inconsistent movement. Doing exercises for a few days and then stopping for a week resets muscle activation patterns, especially in adults over 50 where recovery and adaptation are slower. The third mistake is ignoring hip and glute weakness and focusing only on the knee itself. This keeps the pressure imbalance unchanged, so pain often returns even after short-term improvement. It is also important to reframe what is happening in the body. Knee pain after 50 is not simply wear and tear that must be accepted. In many cases, it reflects a gradual decline in muscle support, circulation efficiency, and joint stability, all of which can be improved with consistent, targeted activation. A simple 30-day challenge can make a meaningful difference in how the knee feels and functions. The goal is not perfection, but steady reactivation of the muscle system that protects the joint. Focus on controlled movement daily, maintain light consistency, and avoid long periods of complete rest. Over time, this helps rebuild stability, improve comfort, and support safer mobility in everyday life.